Warning. In this episode of COZCAST, we will be diving into horrifying and chilling stories. And you, girl, is going to start us off today.
Well, first, I prepared a song that I would like to sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear you, boy, in a couple more hours.
That's a good joke.
A good joke.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about this after my birthday, what I did.
Um, yeah,
Thank you.
mixing something super scary with something super happy.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the few experiences that I have had regarding ghosts. And as you all know, as I say this every single episode, that I record this in my closet. So now I'm scared in the dark in my closet. I I guess I'll start from the beginning. After our grandpa passed away 6 years ago now, a few months after he passed away, I don't know, I guess that was like the first death that I experienced. I mean, other than like a pet or something, that was like the first family. And I felt like a lot of guilt regarding that. And one day, this was like months later, he popped up into my dream. And you boy was there, and our you cousin was there. The whole family was there, and we were at this restaurant. And all of a sudden, our grandpa comes up to me and he gives me a hug and he kisses me. And I guess like after that, I felt less like guilty about it. And the only reason why I felt guilty was because like I was like, oh, maybe I didn't, get to spend enough time with him. I didn't get to form like a deeper bond. I could have talked to him more and stuff. And I told my parents about this, and then my dad told me how every time it gets around the anniversary of his dad's death, and his dad passed away when he was 12, his dad visits him in his dreams. And I don't know if that's like a coincidence because you're thinking about your loved ones, or like that's a way they can actually communicate with you. So, well, my friend, her cousin passed away last year, and her cousin has been talking to her in her dreams. But I also think it's because her cousin's death was really sudden, and her cousin is younger than her, so maybe that's it as well. But like, I guess it's just like a comforting thought to think, oh, they're purposely coming to us to talk to us. What about you boys' story?
So, my story is about the famous La Chusa. And I have a few accounts to tell, but I'm going to tell one about the La Chusa. One that's very just terrifying. So, my great grandmother, when she was a little girl, she lived in a village. And this village was haunted by a La Chusa. And if you don't know what a La Chusa is, there's like two stories. Either that the La Chusa is a witch that can transform into a demon, like owl woman, or they summon a demon, which is the La Chusa. I believe that the story, the former, where they transform, but nonetheless, the villagers, they managed to trap the La Chusa in like with a rope, and they tied it around its legs and its neck, and it would like try to struggle out. And it was like the morning, and it was still there. And this one woman came to where it was, and they're going to kill it. They're going to try to kill it. But the woman, she begged to let it go. No one knows why this woman wanted them to let it go. Maybe she's the one that summoned it. Maybe she knew who it was. Maybe it was their grandmother, their friend, their mother, something, Like, no, I didn't, they didn't tell me why this woman wanted to let them go, the Lechusa go. So the Lechusa, they let it go, and that's the end of the story.
So your great grandma saw this?
Yes, when she was a little girl, her her father told her not to go near it.
Oh, I'm scared. I only found out what that was because of you, and I remember when we would go outside at night, like I was scared that she would come out. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! It is not funny. Intermission while I get out of this closet. Um, so, oh, well, also the apartment that I lived in before this one, I feel like this is just like a sleeping disorder that I had. My mental health was really bad at this time, and I barely got any sleep, so I feel like this was just like all in my head. But I feel like if ghosts and spirits are really real and like evil ones that prey on weak people, like I feel like they could have had like a closer chance at getting to me because like my mental state wasn't good. But anyway, I I slept on a mattress on the floor. I don't know why, I just liked to have my mattress on the floor instead of my actual bed. And I would take naps after school, and I would wake up to my bed shaking, and I thought it was somehow the washer and dryer shaking my bed, even though I was upstairs and the washer and dryer were downstairs and they weren't even on. But it felt like that sensation of like sitting on top of a washer, like at the laundromat. And I looked up what it could have been, and a bunch of paranormal stuff came up, and it freaked me out, and it still freaks me out because it hasn't happened since. It only happened in that apartment.
But it's from my great grandfather, on my other side in Mexico again. So him and his friend were coming out of a bar, and it was night. It was like midnight. So they saw this woman with a long white dress and long black hair walking down the street. And they decide to be like creeps that they are and follow her. So they get on their horses, and yes, they have horses. They follow her, and she goes into a cemetery. And they leave the horses outside the cemetery and climb over the wall. Just like sneak around and follow her like the creeps they are. And she stops in front of a tombstone. And my grandfather, great grandfather, it's a bad feeling, and so he doesn't want to follow her anymore. But his friend continues and gets closer, and the woman turns around, and her face is nothing but a skull. And my grandfather's friend, he's so afraid that he trips over and falls backwards, and he can't even scream or nothing. His face is just pure shock. And my grandfather and him run out of there, and a week later my grandfather's friend passes away.
The shadow stuff happens in the house that I live in now, and this house is pretty old. I think it's from the 50s or 60s, and I have seen multiple shadows walk back and forth in my hallway. And from my bed, I can look out into my hallway. And this one day, I thought my dad had come home because I saw the shadow walk into the room, and it was like as tall as my dad. It looked like a man. I thought it was my dad. And then, like 5 minutes later, I hear the car pull up into the driveway and him open the door, and I'm like, whoa, I thought you've been here. And he's like, no. And my mom and my siblings were outside, so I was the only one that was actually inside the house. And it happened a few times after that. Like I could see the shadow running, but this time it looked like a little kid running. And once again, it was my siblings because I think they were also outside at that time. And then, this was this was last year, like probably like a month or so after our grandma passed away. And my mom was looking into my siblings' room, and they have this noise machine that has a light on it, and she could see like a shadow walk back and forth, and the light was flickering, like someone was standing in front
Mm.
of the light and walking back and forth.